In this third and final video for week 3, I want to kind of go over the overall plan for reviewing or being, critiquing a case study report. So what you see on the screen here, this was from week 2. I wanted you to kind of look at it, but essentially what a case study is used for overall is to educate the reader, provide them a justification and background for the topic of the case study, the justification for why it needs to be done, the objectives of the actual study. So it is like a form of applied research, if you want to look at it that way. So the methods need to be almost an instructional stepwise. This is identifying the equipment you're using, the areas in which you're collecting, what those data collection points are, and then a plan for analysis. Now, that's highly complex to what we typically do, and you can look at my cutting tool study to kind of see how I had arranged that. But it's what it's doing is it's trying to educate the reader, typically written for management, if we're going to be honest, and educating them on here's what I'd like to do. All right. Here's, with support to make that decision. So case study is a record of highly detailed and in-depth research on a particular issue over a specified time and defined in scope and context. The report needs to be professional with clear connection to the site programs and policies. So you have to kind of lay that out. It should also bookend the pre-case expectations, should be case study expectations, with the post-case recommendations and conclusions. The case study report is an artifact of an intern's ability to frame and solve a real-world safety issue and demonstrate the value of the recommendations. So what I've provided here is kind of the steps: defining the project, setting the objectives, doing your research and data collection, and then the analysis and report writing. All right? Yeah. So always begin by meeting with your site supervisor so you can clearly define expectations and project value. That'll really help you get going. I think it was Tim that said that, a majority of the time should be put into understanding the problem and then a small amount to coming up with solutions. Definitely create a plan. And again, you're working with your site supervisor and your assigned advisor. So you should have things well planned out before you begin. You need to be documenting everything, something I'm trying to teach you in this class. And of course, you can read through this stuff. I'm not going to read it all to you. Write your case study report and verify results recommendations before submission. So you'll see, like in my cutting tool study, I went and got the employee, part of the data collection was the employee input. And my evaluation of the injury data more in depth, find out where things were, things like that. Remember, this is a learning experience for both you and anybody else who would read it. So here's the layout that's expected. So have a professional cover page. There's no reason not to. Make sure you detail everything about it. Again, where it's being done, who did it, what are the dates, things like that. Definitely need to have an executive summary, but again, that is written last. Once you've completed the entire technical report, summarize it into a clear message to management. This is a summary of the study itself and the main results, and this is the recommendation on what to do. Definitely have the value-based assessment there. Yes. Then if you want to, you put in a table of contents, and then you have the introduction, and that section should have a label on it. Then the methods should be labeled, should not be a bulleted list. We'll see some of that. Then you have the results, and there should be results tables. And then discussion, cost, benefit analysis, or value-based assessment, and then finally conclusion, and then your references and any appendices. And then here are some tips for writing reports. So this is a summary of what's expected. Then we can go to the grading rubric. You guys got to try it last week. Let's see how well you matched up to my scoring that I use. This is for the executive summary. It's really important because really this is all the executives want to read. They want to know what'd you do, what'd you find. And then the report itself would be for someone who's going to say, like your supervisor or someone who's going to pick up where you left off. I right now am understanding how important it is that you have a clear technical report to go with the executive summary. I'm trying to pick up where this other person left off and I can't find any sort of direction. So I'm kind of making it up as I go. Then you've got the technical report. So that right there is 70% of the scoring. And then I split the remaining 30% between doing a topic justification and the value-based assessment and recommendations and the overall look and professionalism of the report. So 30, 40, 15, and 15. Let's do it. So the first one. Oh, I'm at the end of it. So first of all, we want to, so this is not a bad looking cover page. It could be a little bit better, but it's good enough. Got the company name, its breakdown, what the case study's about, the name of the person who did it, and the date. Good cover page. Then we got the executive summary. So I think they spend too much time kind of going into theoretical stuff. It should have probably started right here. Total mechanical. You don't have to even say that. So total mechanical was issued in other than serious OSHA violation. Give me the dates and some other information. And this was the standard that was cited. It'd be nice to know what the penalty amount was. It probably wasn't much. And maybe a picture of the equipment or something. Even it just says AccuShear machine. So it'd be nice if they really established the background. The justification's there. But a little bit more information. An analysis of all machines, we don't really need to know that, but rather each machine was given overall. So it would have been nice to have a little bit more information about the overall risk calculation. And what do they have here? Installation of guards, so it's a single guard or multiple guards? I'm kind of confused on, did they do a bunch of machines? Did they just do the AccuShear? I'm kind of confused. And this table here, I don't like when tables are split in half like this. Let's see. No repeat. So that is ridiculous. That's way too high. You should just focus on the more conservative estimate. I'm not sure where the work comp benefit came from. We can look at that. It'd be nice to have maybe a detail. Looks like a rounding. Let's see. Where did they get this stuff from? So wages and light duty. That's how they came up with that? Oh, come on, man. Could have done much better. These are not justified numbers. I'm not happy with this value-based assessment. Yeah, not happy. No, not good enough. Way too off. If I was a manager and I read this, I'd be like, no, I can't take your recommendation if I can't believe or trust these numbers you're giving me. So thumbs down. I don't like what I've seen so far. So for the executive summary, it checks some of the boxes. The most I would give it would be a B. But I'm kind of leaning below that. That'd be the most. So it's going to be in between here and here. I'd give it a 22. Yeah, I think I'd give it a 22. That's probably where I would be. Yeah. So and it's okay at this point to kind of give it ranges as we're kind of learning to use this rubric. Then we've got the table of contents. That's nice. We've got the scope. Again, it'd be nice if we had some pictures or actually some other specific information about the OSHA inspection and any sort of injuries that had occurred or anything that was close. We would need that. So this section here, it's only a little over a page and a half. Probably should be anywhere from 3 to 5 pages. 3 minimum, though. I like that they gave us objectives. But if you're going to give objectives, you have to answer each one of these in the methods on how you're doing it and on the results. Methods are in a bullet point. Oh man, I hate that. I really don't like that. It's nice that they've got a flow chart, but I'd like to see a little bit more about numbers, how the data is going to be collected and analyzed. We've got the results. Do we have the list of machines and results? Or just to me, this is reading like more of methods, if I'm not mistaken. And then we get direct to recommendations. So I don't really see individual results like I would want to see in order to really build up and propose. So they're looking at this company. Okay, that's nice. It'd be nice to have a little bit more information. Let's see what else. And if we had pictures, well, we've got a little bit here about what's going on, but I'm not getting a lot of information here. And then we've got the unjustified numbers. And we have some references. So let's see. How should we score this? So for the executive summary, I gave it a 22. For the technical report, gosh, I'm really leaning to a max of 34. Could it be replicated based on what they said? I'm going to have to give it a 28. Okay. So now I've got 22 and 28, so I'm at 50. The value-based, right away I have issues with it. Recommendations based on data, and nope, we don't have that. Topic of the case study is not clearly defined. Not really, is it? The recommendations are not supported by results, and the cost-benefit is unreasonable adjustment. I got to give it a 9. So now we're at 59. Overall, let's see. Report is minimally professional. Because, yeah, it needs more pictures. It needed a lot more work. But I'm going to go 12. So, let's see. What did we end up with? We had 59 and 12. 1. So it's at about a 71. So it's just barely passing. 70 is considered passing in this class. But you don't want to go too much below that. So this first one, I would have given it a 71. What did you give it? And what were your justification for that criteria? So think about that. Try to use that as you move into the next, this week's stuff. All right, so let's look at this one here. I'm not real clear on who the company is. This is not a professional cover page, but it is a cover page. Not great, though. Not exciting. I'm already worried. There should have been an executive summary header. Sometimes students, though, they forget. So let's see here. So scope. During an internal audit, 14 findings for improper guarding were found. The goal of the project is to do a complete sweep. It's not an official word. Of 1, 2, 3 labs to standardize machine guarding defenses. I think you're doing a sweep to do the assessment, and then a secondary step would be to assess or standardize something. So, not real clear. Justification. Yeah, I don't know where the stuff's coming from other than OSHA. In the past 5 years, we're at GE Healthcare. Okay, now we know where it is. Had 5 injuries that related to machine guarding. That's, I'd like more. This is what should have been really written about more. More information about this. What's going on in-house. Other information that would kind of lead us to maybe additional questions. What we really should be looking at. Things like that. So the objectives. Audit all the machines using what? To create standard. Okay, just jumped ahead there. The machine doesn't meet the minimal guard. Okay, it's messy. How could you pick this up? How could you? There's no executive summary, so we're already at 0 for that. Or is this the executive summary? Yeah, that they forgot to write an executive summary. The methods, it doesn't help me. The results. So they actually looked at 72 machines. I would like to actually see, a grouping by lab since they talked about it. Were audited and 5 of the machines did not. Okay, so I'd like to know how you reach this. Okay, I'd like the results. Although, just got certified. I don't really care. Do this operate taking guards off. They're taking guards off. Okay, it'd be nice to dig in to find out why, right? Which creates a risk to ensure. So I don't know. First task was to create visual aids. Each machine to show the operator how the guard should be placed. Okay, that's nice. I get that. But where did it come from? It should have come out of the research. So then we have this. So this is kind of cool. Each machine is like a reminder for the worker, gives them information. This is nice. But, where did we end up with this? What was it before? What is it now? Type of thing. So we have a before and after. That's pretty cool. But it would have been nice if there was some explanation to go with that. And then we've got this thing here. It's been oblong, so I don't really see what's going on. Here again, yeah, it's the picture's kind of augmented weird. I wish there was arrows or boxes or something so I know what I'm looking at. Here maybe 2. And then we get to the recommendations, and it's just kind of saying, yeah, whatever. For this thing, add different guard. I don't even know. See, it would be nice if we had a full listing, and that listing narrowed down what they're going to focus on, and then narrowed it further to here. Is that a 2-hand actuator? Or what is this? I wish they would say. Best practice. I'm confused. I'm really confused what's going on here. And it should have been organized and presented better. Okay, so cost-benefit analysis. Machine guarding injury claim. Okay. I don't know where that came from, but it seems reasonable. They're going to buy 3 of these and then 1, 1, and 1. Here's the total. So at least this is conservative. But there were a lot of holes here. There needed to be a lot more explanation and background everything needed to be kind of tied together a little bit better, but this isn't bad. Not too bad. I do appreciate they provided some photos, but you got to explain what's there too. So as a user, I'm a little confused. No, I'm confused. So let's score it, shall we? Sorry. All right, so executive summary got a 0. There wasn't any. I mean, we could actually go up to, we could play around. It doesn't have to be a 0. We don't have to be punitive, but we could see. So technical report, I just don't feel like it met here. Case report needs to have a proper section. Okay, it does. It needs to have reference. It does. If its intro is too brief, methods are unclear or a bulleted list, results lack data, they do, then the score report should be under 20. Oh, okay. So we're in this sort of 20 to 24 range. The pick, I'm going to go 24. I'm going to be generous. Excuse me. Here I may just go 10 just because maybe they'll learn. So 10 and 24 is 34. The value based on this was better. This was probably the best part of it. Questions, recommendations are based on data. I wish it was. The cost benefit is somewhat just, but it is justified. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'd give them like a 13. So 13 and 24 is 37. 37 plus 10. We're at 47. Let's see. Did not have a cover page. Report is unprofessional and or sources are not credible. No, I wouldn't go that low. I think I'm just going to go ahead with a 12. So what did we say we were at? 10, 34. What did we give it here? Oh, this was better. 4. I did 13. I think we said 47 and then maybe 57, 59. I'm probably somewhere around a 60, but the problem is this is really weighting it down. So between a 50 and a 60, depending on what we award here. But with an executive summary and maybe a couple of drafts, this could jump up to an 80 quickly, I think. You just don't turn in your first draft, but I think a 60 or lower, unfortunately, for Jordan. That's too bad. So I hope that this helped you out. Compare it to your scores. See what you think. And again, I'm trying to think of it from a manager perspective. If a student gave me this, it's like, oh, hey, I gave you this project. Everything you need, just ask for it. And then in 2 weeks, you hand this in. I'd be upset. I really would. Because I couldn't use it to go to my manager to ask for the money to do these corrective actions. And that's what you got to be thinking of. What does my manager need to make a decision, or what does my manager need to convince their supervisor to invest in this stuff? That's what you need to be thinking about, okay? So these two examples, we had one that, what did we score it? I forget. Was it basically just a 70? And the other one, basically just a 60. So think about that as you do this week's projects. We'll continue to work on this. I'll review this week's assignment next week. And you'll actually be working on a case study that I have from my current position. So reach out if you have questions. I would like to meet with you all this week.